Dear friends, we have come to the sermon of this Kalalgoda English Medium Retreat. May you give your consent by saying Sadhu Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So chakkhuna rupam visva piya rupe sarajyati apiya rupe vyavarjati anupattita kaya sapicha viharati paritta chetaso ti. Dear friends, as a usual practice in all the retreats, so we are doing kind of a Dhamma sermon, basically to in a way to educate ourselves. Basically, Buddha explains that it is not enough to just meditate, just sit and watch your breath. There are certain other things that help to develop our mind. There are 5 aspects Buddha explains in a particular sutta called Tanhasankhaya Sutta. There he says that our practice has to be supported in 5 ways. First, he says about the Sutta Tanhasankhaya, where we need to observe fairly honestly precepts. So where we are trying to restrain our body and the speech, because it is quite difficult to restrain the mind if our body and speech are not restrained. If we are constantly transgressing certain precepts and no respect towards the others or others' welfare, and our behavior is harmful to the others, then it's quite difficult to go for a kind of a very delicate purpose like developing the mind. Therefore, it is necessary to cut off certain gross defilements or gross behaviors in our life. Therefore, it is necessary to maintain good virtues, good morality. Therefore, Buddha says, before everything, just establish yourself in morality. So that is called Sīlanuggahita. So that's why here in all of the retreats, we get into higher precepts. I mean, upgrade to a higher precept. Other than the 5 precepts, we get into 8 precepts, for example. So that we feel that we are now a little dedicated than our typical way of life. So we have some concern about how we behave, how we speak. So all these things matters, because if we are not caring about how we speak and how we behave bodily, then it's quite difficult to attain to a very subtle activity like mental development. And secondly, Buddha says that our practice has to be supported with Sutta Tanhasankhaya, where time to time we will listen to Dhamma, we will read certain books, Dhamma books, what is the teaching, where Buddha's teaching carries, and that helps us to clarify certain doubts in ourselves and to learn new things, and even to compare our experience with the Buddha's teaching. So when we ourselves have experienced something, and when it is found in a particular sutta, where Buddha has directly mentioned, at least to some extent, where what we have experienced, then we get joy. We are delighted because Buddha has explained that 2600 years ago, and now even today, after 2600 years ago, still we can enjoy it or we can experience it. So this helps us to sort of clarify the path, ascertain the path, and again remove doubts, and confidently we can travel the path. So that is Sutta Tanhasankhaya, where we are learning this through listening and reading. On the other hand, that also is not enough. Time to time we have certain doubts which we ourselves cannot solve. So we go to a good place or we are among the good people, fellow practitioners, and we discuss among ourselves. Openly we tell what are the problems that we encounter. So we get some good opinions from others. At least we believe that they have passed the level that we are currently experiencing. So we can get some experience what they have passed through. So we share all these experiences among ourselves. So that helps us to clarify certain doubts which we are currently going through. That is called Sakachamangaya. Through the discussions, therefore we can eliminate doubts. That's also another way of studying that it is necessary to support time to time. Then time to time we have to concentrate the mind, tranquil the mind, because our mind tends to get distracted, tends to get restless. So it is quite necessary to time focus the mind on a very wholesome object, some neutral object, so that our mind becomes well focused, well concentrated. So this is also necessary, and again sometimes it helps to give us some kind of happy feeling in the mind, because sometimes mind goes to a little depressive or certain unhappy states. So rather than staying there, Buddha says, find out some kind of a pleasing object, helpful object, wholesome object, and again apply your mind to that wholesome object. That helps us to concentrate the mind. That is called tranquility practice or samatha bhavana. So samatha anugrahita is therefore helpful. The last and the most important is the vipassana anugrahita, where you need to develop wisdom. Buddha's teaching is well focused towards the wisdom, where we are developing wisdom through proper observation. We can't do observation with a dispersed or distracted mind. Therefore, it is necessary to concentrate and have established a well-focused and sane, concentrated mind, and that helps us to see the reality of the things as they truly are. So that helps to develop wisdom. So this wisdom practice or the wisdom support is the fifth one that Buddha says that time to time we need to develop, and that is the most of the time that we have to develop. And these 5 ways, Buddha says, it is necessary to have a Cheto Vibhuti and Pranayama. That's the deliverance of the mind and deliverance of the wisdom. So as a result, by taking an example of that sutta, we are putting this Tanhasankhaya. So in this Kalalgoda English medium retreat, we have selected Maha Tanhasankhaya Sutta, which we were discussing for several months now, and which you can come across in Majjhima Nikaya. So this is a fairly deep sutta and very interesting sutta. So this is a real incident happened during the Buddha's time. One monk called Venerable Sati, and he too is a disciple of the Buddha, but was having a wrong view, in a way of pernicious view. What he was thinking is that there is a consciousness, and this consciousness is lasting, everlasting, and it is transmigrating from this life to another life. So in a way it's very much like today's self view or soul view, where there is an ongoing soul available, ongoing self available. Eternity is such kind of eternal soul is available. So this Venerable Sati, even though being a disciple of the Buddha, started to carry this kind of a wrong view, thinking that consciousness, vijnana, is ongoing, everlasting, and it does not, or it is not something arising and passing away or impermanent. Rather, it's a permanent, lasting thing which is available in this life as well as in a future life. So the other monks get to know that Venerable Sati is having or carrying this kind of a view, and they try to convince him that the Buddha has never said something like that, so you better change your wrong view. But Venerable Sati was somewhat stubborn and he was not ready to accept others are telling. Then what happened was they complained about Venerable Sati to Buddha, and then the Buddha asked Venerable Sati to come and meet him. Now you can see, now there are many monks are also in the audience, and now Venerable Sati is coming to the picture, and then Buddha started to question Venerable Sati. It's very much like a meeting like a situation, and there's a kind of accused person, and he is having wrong view, and Buddha was very cautious not only about him, that is Venerable Sati, but about other monks. Because as you all know, if Buddha's teaching was little twisted or changed, then it will be transmitted in a wrong way. So during that all days, there are no proper, like today we have so many ways of storing information, at least to some extent in a reliable way, and people can either use say books or CDs or computers or various forms, various medium in order to store information. But at that time there is no such thing at all. Even the books are not there, and what they only have is the memory. So they used to listen to Buddha, and then they start to memorize. Through the memory, through the memorizing, the information or the data or the Dhamma is transferred from this generation to the other generation. So in case someone is having a wrong view and he puts that information to this correct Dhamma, then the whole thing gets kind of polluted, wrong, and then it will be transmitted to the next generation. So then ultimately we will have a wrong idea or wrong Dhamma, which is not what exactly Buddha has said. Therefore Buddha was very careful about putting his teaching very purely, very correctly to the others. Teaching others the very best or the purest form of Dhamma. Therefore he started to question Venerable Sati from the beginning, and he asked, where did you learn such thing? Did I ever say something like that? Like that Buddha started to question. And when Buddha was questioning, Venerable Sati has no answer, because he couldn't recall where Buddha has mentioned this kind of a wrong view. This is his own creation, his own mind creation that Buddha has never said. So therefore Venerable Sati was helpless or silent without answering the questions of the Buddha. He admitted that he has wrong view, but he couldn't recall that Buddha was saying such thing. Then what happened was Buddha started to question the other monks in order to check whether any of them have this kind of a wrong view. Then he started to check whether the other monks are having proper understanding about the teaching, proper understanding about the practice, and very key teachings of the Buddha he is now checking with the other monks. On that occasion, for example, he is asking about for nutriments. As you all know, Buddha teaches Dhamma in various different ways. For nutriments is one way of presenting the teaching, where our sustenance, our ongoing life cycle is dependent on four nutriments. Number one is the gross food, what we eat or drink. That is number one. Then the second is the contact, which we get through all the six external bases. For example, through eyes we are looking at sights, through ears we listen to sounds, through the nose we feel the odors, through the tongue we get taste, through the body the tactile sensations, and again mind, through the mind, mental objects. So this way we are sort of communicating with the external world. This is how we open to the outside. And this is, Buddha says, is a type of a food, and through which we are depending on. This is called Passa Ahara. And third, there's something called Tanhasankhaya Ahara, where our volition is involved. We constantly want to do something. Either we want to change something, we want to add something, we want to subtract something, we want to eliminate something or create something. So always our kind of intention is there, some kind of motivation is there to do something. So this helps to sort of energize ourselves. We always wanting to do something. So Tanhasankhaya. So Buddha says this is another type of food for the mind. And depending on that, we are living. Tanhasankhaya. Again, the last is the consciousness nutriment called Vijnana Ahara. Even at the very subconscious level, we have some kind of a continuity in the mind where we think that there is something exists in the mind and we add to that, or we cling to that. In Dhamma it is called Namarupa or name and form, So this consciousness established on name and form constantly, and then goes to another name and form. So likewise, there's a kind of beautiful interrelationship between name and form and the consciousness, vijnana and namarupa. And constantly we are feeding this name and form to the consciousness. Constantly feeding name and form to the consciousness. It's a very subtle layer, deeper layer in the mind, and you need to fairly develop vipassana in order to at least understand that point. And you have to experience that. So Buddha says these are the 4 types of nutriment, and based on these nutriment, our life is continuing, not only in this life, even to the next lives. So we have discussed these things in detail in the past months, and last month actually we started to discuss about the dependent arising, what we call as Paticcasamuppada. That also is discussed in this very sutta, in Maha Tanhasankhaya Sutta. Actually, as you can see, some deeper aspects of the Dhamma is discussed in this sutta. It's not just touching a particular incident that Venerable Sati is having kind of a wrong view and Buddha questions him and just deny him. Rather, he verifies with other monks about key teachings of this Dhamma and check whether they got it properly. And Buddha confirms, for example, after asking all these questions, Buddha asks, are you all, asking from the other monks, are you all telling these things out of respect to me? And then the other monks say, no, it's not just out of respect that we are telling like that. So then Buddha asks, is it because that someone else has told like that, and are you simply blindly believing it? Then others say, no, it's not like that. So then Buddha asks, is it by your own very understanding, is by your own direct knowledge that you have experienced it, tested it, verified it? Then other one says yes. So that indicates they themselves have seen the truth or seen the teaching, and then when Buddha is asking, they are telling it out of experience. Not just by listening, not just by mental sort of contemplation, but they have seen it through the practice. So after verifying or observing through the practice only, now they are answering the Buddha. Then Buddha was happy about it, and again then Buddha was asking about so many questions about the Paticcasamuppada, dependent arising, and we discussed that last time. So when we discussing Paticcasamuppada, there are certain key teachings or key factors we need to learn. So if I recall some information about it, so if we think that based on some kind of a self-view, then we are imposing some kind of some kind of a view, wrong view onto the ongoing process. So for example, I exist in the past. And where did I came to the past? And how I lived in the past? And what did I do in the past? So this is a certain proliferation based on the past, and it depends on the view that I exist. Self exists. I was there. Similarly, to the future, what will happen to me? How will I live in the future? After, say, passing away in the future, where will I be reborn? To the future from where I came. So likewise, even to the future, we can project various wrong views. Again, based on I, based on self-view. Similarly, considering the present moment, even to the present life or present moment, we can have such kind of a view. Am I exist? Or am I well? Am I doing well? How am I? So after passing in this present, where should I be reborn? So like that, based on the self-view, kind of identification, we can proliferate. So these are ways that our mind works, and constantly we are thinking in this way. And Buddha putting his teaching different. He tells, imasmin sati idam hoti, imasutpada idam uppajjati. When there is something or when there is a cause, there is another result. When this cause exists or when this cause arises, Accordingly, depending on that cause, another thing arises. You must think asati idana hoti, you must nirodha idana viruddha. When this cause does not exist, the result does not exist. With the passing away of this cause, the result also passes away. So he is giving a different teaching without taking the extremes, and he is giving this dependently rising nature or dependent origination. It's called Paticcasamuppada. So this is the key principle in Paticcasamuppada, where we understand that there is nothing in this conditioned world which is self-arisen, sustained by itself. Everything is interconnected life. Everything is interdependent. So it is quite necessary to understand this interdependency. Otherwise, we get trapped in some kind of creativity, some kind of a supernatural external force creating these things, or kind of a omnipotent God creating these things. Or we are always attributed it to some external force rather than understanding this very dependent arising nature. So this Paticcasamuppada is one of the three teachings of the Buddha. And in another sutta, in what's called Maha Sutta, when Sariputta says, if one understood this Paticcasamuppada, he understood the Dhamma. So he has narrowed down to that extent. So in order to understand Buddha's teaching, Buddha's Dhamma, one needs to understand this Paticcasamuppada, dependent arising. Therefore, it is so critical to understand this Paticcasamuppada. And there are 12 links mentioned in this Paticcasamuppada, and some of you may be familiar with. It starts with avijja, paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnana, like that. So, rather than going in that way, there is another beautiful incident happened during the Vipassana Buddha, which our Buddha is explaining. It's also a beautiful incident. There is one sutta called Maha Sutta in Dīghanikāya. There our Buddha is explaining how Buddha Vipassana, before his attaining enlightenment, before his attaining Buddhahood, how he sort of rationally understood this Paticcasamuppada. He actually went through the bottom, actually went through the place and then realized Paticcasamuppada, which is actually even us, according to Buddha's teaching now, we can understand. For example, he understood now there is suffering, there is kind of unsatisfactoriness, now there is aging, old age, the decay, and all these mass of suffering is available. And what is the cause of this mass of suffering? And he got the answer, it is a birth. Because I had a birth, now I have to go through all these issues, all these problems, which I have to go through aging, the sickness, getting death, and in between I have to go through being the dislike and being separated with the loved ones, and likewise there are so many suffering it has to go through, and this actually happens because I have a birth. Then what is the cause of birth? And he understood that it is because of the becoming. Then what is the cause of the becoming? He understood it is because of the clinging, upada. And what is the cause of the clinging? Then he understood is tanha, craving. What is the cause of the craving? He understood it is because of the feeling. What is the cause of the feeling? Then he understood it is because of the contact. What is the cause of the contact? He understood because we have 6 sense bases. What is the cause of the 6 sense bases? He understood it is the name and form, nama-rupa. What is the cause of the nama-rupa? He understood it is the consciousness, vijnana. And he come to a fairly deep point, and then he reflects what is the cause of the name and form, or the consciousness. And he got that answer as name and form. There he understood there is kind of interrelationship between name and form and consciousness. This is a kind of a very beautiful finding of Vipassana Buddha. Actually, our Buddha also has mentioned that this finding at different other suttas, and this is a beautiful finding he made, and he understood through this kind of a Vipassana path. Similarly, you can understand, so these 12 links Actually, in this sutta, this what we call avidya and sankhara is not mentioned. That is because this not knowing of this whole pattern, all this cycle is avidya. Not knowing at that time, before he reflects this, he didn't know this. So this is a kind of an ignorance. So once he understood this, so this ignorance has gone. So basically, so these 12 links are so important, and again, each link is an example to this Patissamuppada principle. So in this Patissamuppada, it is quite important to understand the principle. As I said, because of this, that arises. With the arising of this, that also arises. When this does not exist, that also does not exist. With the passing away of this, that also passes away. So this is the principle. Imasmin sati idam hoti, imasu pada idam upajjati, imasmin asati idam nahoti, imasu nirodha idam niruddhati. It's also called idam paccheta in Dhamma. So this is the key principle of the dependent arising. Again, sometimes Buddha takes only 2 links to explain Patissamuppada. For example, just because of the jati, birth, this aging, lamentation, sorrow, all mass of suffering arise. So, these 2 links now can be applied to that principle. So, in this sutta, in this Maha Tanhasankhaya sutta, now Buddha explains Patissamuppada practically how it can be applied to a typical person. It's also a very beautiful explanation. And he says how a normal person, a being, is reborn in a particular world. And he starts beautifully telling that this birth happens due to 3 reasons. If you refer this sutta, you can find this whole information. He says that in order for birth to happen, there should be at least 3 reasons. First reason is that the mother and, now we are talking about the human birth, so mother and father has to have the union, and then the mother has to be seasoned, and at the same time, there should be a person coming from the past life is now ready in order to get the birth. So these 3 reasons are necessary. So at least if one is not available, so then rebirth will not happen of a new being. And then he says, suppose all these 3 conditions satisfied, now mother is now carrying embryo for 9 months with a lot of effort, with a lot of care and a lot of stress, and very carefully she is carrying for 9 months the embryo. And actually this all information available in this sutta. And after 9 months she is giving birth to the child, and even that process is very careful, very in a way challenging, very stressful. And anyway, she is giving birth to the little kid, infant. And once infant is born, so she is breastfeeding him, and all these things are happening. And then Buddha says, now the little kid is growing, and he starts to even play. So he is taking certain sports at that time. So like playing toy plows and all these things. So based on the agricultural society which Buddha was, and in today's terms, we can understand how today's kids are playing. So he may be playing cricket, maybe something else, and nowadays computer games and all these things. So you can understand how kids are playing now. So, and this is how the kid is now slowly growing. And now he is a typical human being growing as usual. Now in today's terms, he is going to school and going to classes and going to scholarship, 4th grade scholarship and all these things. You can put all these practical things which is available today to this story. And now he is grown. And now he become a youth. And now he is enjoying his faculties, his senses. He don't know any meditation, any restraint, and he is a typical human being. So, let me get into the Buddha's terms now. So, Chakuna Rupan Disra, Piyarupe Rupe Sarajati. Now, this is how he is dealing with the day-to-day activities. And he sees beautiful sight through his eyes, and it is now beautiful. Piyarupe Rupe. Sarachati, and he delights in it, he attaches to it, and he clings to it. Apya rupe vyapati. If he sees something repulsive, which he doesn't want to see, he immediately becomes aggressive or don't like to see it, or immediately turns back or go away from it. This is a typical approach that we all are going through. Anupattita kaya samsya vihadati parittekas. So, at that time there is no established mindfulness at all on your body based on any meditation. We are simply living in a very narrow-minded way. Our mind is fairly narrow, and simply we have at that time that particular experience. If there's a beautiful sight, we simply attach it. We want to have it. And we enjoy it, we cling to it. Similarly, if this sight is repulsive, not beautiful, ugly, then we simply rebel from it. Similarly, if we listen to a beautiful sound, song, music, then immediately he wants to have it more, listen it further, and he records it and put it to his MP3 player again and again, listen to it. So likewise you can understand how we are enjoying the senses. Similarly, if he listens to someone else's playing, his mother's playing, father's playing, teacher's playing, and all these things, then he immediately gets upset. He starts to angry about him or her, and he immediately goes away from that blame, which he doesn't like to hear. And he is living in a very narrow-minded way. Similarly, now he is going through certain smells, which is pleasing, delightful, and he wants to have it again and again, like to enjoy it, and he may even buy that and keep it with him, and he can even apply it to his body or something like that, maybe a perfume or something like that. So this is how he is enjoying the nose, the odors, smells. Similarly, if he encounters certain bad smells, then he immediately go out of it, try to avoid it, prevent it. If he is encountering very delicious food, drinks, and he likes to have it again and again, enjoys it, spend a lot of money to have it again and again, and that is what the food or the drink that he is always searching for, because it is giving delight to him. If certain things are really horrible, doesn't like, then he wants to avoid it. And even if he had to have it, then he becomes resentful about it. And he may even blame mother, father, why you all are giving me this kind of rough food and all these things. Similarly, suppose he is going through some tactile sensations, and if it is pleasing, pleasurable, happyful, and he wants to have it more and more. Say, very good clothing, maybe the touch of the loved ones and all these things, and he wants to have these loved ones closer to him and enjoying senses and all these things. So that's the delightful side. Similarly, if someone is punishing or hitting him or something like that, then he wants to run away from it. Again, certain thoughts are coming to the mind, mental objects are coming to the mind. If it is pleasing, he starts to think about it more and more. He does not stop at that point. He is adding to that. Suppose something that he has seen, suppose there's a beautiful sight he has seen, and after coming at home again, it comes as a mental object. Now he starts to think about it again and again, and the mind is now going through that, and the mind becomes delighted about it, thinking. Similarly, the other side, sometimes we don't want to think something, still mind goes and attaches to that distraction, and again he's thinking about it, even though it's harmful. So this is the typical pattern that we are going through. And now Buddha is applying this typical experience to the Parisambhava. How he applies, now after seeing a beautiful object, and he delights in it, and that delight means some kind of feeling. Yankinchi vedanam vedeti sukham va dukkam va dukkam sukham va so tam vedanam abhinandati abhivadati ajjosaya dittati. So the same thing which I have already explained, that now Buddha is saying, now suppose there is a beautiful sight, because of that now there is a happy or pleasurable feeling arises. So in this feeling, he abhinandati. Abhinandati means he delights in it. Abhivadati, he welcomes it. He wants to have it again and again. Ajjosaya dittati, he remains on it holding. He is strongly holding that pleasurable feeling. Tassatang etanang abhinandato, abhivadato, ajjosaya dittato, pajjati nandi. So more and more he does it, so mind starts to generate some kind of a inner joy, inner pleasure, inner attachment to that, and yavedanasu nandi tadupana tadupada. So when that delight arises, so to that our mind gets and cling. So this is the way the mind is operating. So first we see a particular sight which is beautiful, and now it is getting some kind of pleasurable feeling, and to that feeling we really like, we enjoy that feeling. We want to have that feeling again and again. We welcome that feeling, and to that feeling our mind strongly hold, or our mind get into it, adhere to it, holding it. So that causes clinging, upadana. Then upadana paccaya bhava. So now we are going to get into a different state of mind that is called becoming. We were in a, say for example, in a kind of bored state of mind. And we are simply watching the TV. And at that time also some not that interesting things telecast. So we are anyway looking at it. Now suppose immediately a beautiful sight started to show in the TV. Now this person who is watching the TV saw that sight. And that sight is very interesting. And he immediately feels happy about it. Pleasure arises in the mind. Kind of a happy state arises in the mind. Actually attached, we cling to that pleasurable feeling. Actually that pleasurable feeling is conditioned by that sight, external sight. It's true. So this sight has caused us pleasurable feeling. We attach it to this pleasurable feeling. So attaching to this pleasurable feeling further condition it to upadana, clinging. Now we are reborn into a new state. Our mind has become to a new state. We were in a bored state of mind. Now we are in a delighted state of mind. Now we are upadana paccaya bhava. New state of mind has arisen. Bhava paccaya jati. Now we are reborn into this new state of mind, which is in a way very blissful, maybe very delighted, very pleasurable. Now he wakes up and now looks at the TV very energetically. He was a little bored at that time previously. Now he is energetic and now he is looking at, even the mouth is open. You can understand the situation. And then, suppose it lasts for 5 minutes, then immediately they finish the program or advertisement being played or something like that. You understand all these things. Right? Then what happens? So this newly born state of mind collapses. Then paccaya jati, jati paccaya jara marana, this state to which he has reborn is transient. It's not permanent. That world also collapses. That also ends. After ending, he going back to that dull state, going back to that boring state. Similarly, the ear. He also now, he was in a kind of a drowsy state mode. At that time, say, beautiful song start to play. Now he wakes up and tune the radio or TV or whatever, and he starts thinking attentively about this new song. Now he is reborn to this new song. Upadana paccaya bhava. And that song also ends. It can't last forever. And that is giving some pleasure at that time temporarily. And he is living in that world in that particular period. Now you know there are certain songs giving certain enjoyment as well as taking you to a kind of a fantasy world. And you are enjoying that. You may even close your eyes and going to the mental images, and the sound is, the music is pumping to the ears, and you are in that delight. You lost it. So this is the reborn into the new world. That also is temporary, and that song also ends, or the electricity is cut off. Immediately you are down. You are down to the earth, and your fantasy world is end. So, Jara Marana Soparadeva, you are getting up. Similarly, say you are going to nose, beautiful say smell is coming, and you attach to it. Attachment further develop and get into Pala. And you are enjoying, and you are, suppose there's a very pleasant smell coming from a fruit. Now you are thinking about how I am going to eat it and all these things, and you are thinking that your mother is preparing it. So ultimately you found it is coming from the other side of the road. It is not from your own house. So you end up with frustration that you can't eat it, ultimately, even though you dreamed about it. So this is the end of it. So similarly the taste. So you are going to very beautiful, delicious food, and at that time you are born into that delicious world. You can't beat the feeling. So it is said in the advertisements, isn't it? So when you are there, so you are in that world. So you are enjoying that taste. And at that time you are very energetic, and you are delighted, and saliva also coming to the mouth, and you are in a different world. And after a while that also ends, and you have to swallow the thing. And it's gone. That delight, that pleasure gone. So again, if you are going through certain sensation, tactile sensation, same situation. We may be having, say, pleasure through the sensations, and that also has the same situation. Mind also the same, that we may be taking certain mental object, and we are enjoying. At that time, actually, even more than this, we are reborn to a fantasy world, dream world, but completely out of this present world, out of this present moment. An entirely a different world. And that world has no boundaries. Unlike this typical five faculties, mind has no boundaries. So we can add anything to that world. So we are adding this and that, and in order to further beautify it, further intense the mental pressure, we are adding more and more things, more fabrication, and more become. Immediately someone come and tell, okay, now you have to go, time has gone, or you come to work, you can't lie down here. Why are you sleeping in this midday? You have to work. Someone is coming, and now you are out of the world, out of this dreamy world. So this is how, so this Sotena Sattan Sutta, Ghanena Tantan Gahayitva, Jivhaya Rasan Sahayitva, Kayana Prakkabam Kusitva, Manasa Dhammameya. So all the six faculties Buddha is explaining how each and every faculty is causing this vicious cycle. Through the eyes, we are get caught to the dependent arising, Patissamutva. Through the ears, we get caught to Patissamutva. Actually, Samudaya side, the arising side. Similarly, through the nose, we get caught to this vicious cycle. Through the tongue, we get caught to this vicious cycle. Through the body, we get caught to this vicious cycle, and again, through the mind, we get caught to this vicious cycle. So if we simply honestly experience, or rather, contemplate our own lives, how we live, we constantly want to be reborn to a new state. Because currently, at this state, appears like boring. It is not that delightful. And so you want to have some experience, different experience. So you are at home and you feel bored, so you switch on the TV. Why? So you want to reborn to a new state. This state is unsatisfied. Bored. Say you are going to give a call to a loved one, to your father, your mother, your say husband, wife or child or whoever. Because why? At this moment unsatisfied. this appears like boring. So we want to reborn to a new state. But that new state, that also can't last forever. Constantly we are going after this new state, new state, new state. Constantly become. So we are in a way trapped in this vicious cycle. So in a different way, Buddha puts this in another sutta, which is called Kaccanagotta Sutta, where one venerable called Venerable Kaccanagotta, he comes and asks from the Buddha, Bhante, now Sammaditya is called, right view is called, what is this right view? And then Buddha is giving a kind of explanation about the word. He says, Upayapadana abhinivesa nibadhoko kaccana loko yeduye. Now, this is a kind of a statement Buddha has made by observing the mind of our all the beings. He says, Upayapadana abhinivesa nibadhoko. This is a very beautiful terms there. Upaya means you get engaged, you get closer to the mind. Now say, even we are here, if your mind is, suppose you are meditating, and when your mind distracts, to which it goes typically? It goes to the mostly engaged object. Suppose you have some loved one, your child for example, or your parent, or another whoever, and you may be observing breath. If it jumps out of breath, it goes and shifts with that loved one. We are always carrying this loved one in our head. At this time, we may not be strongly grasping it, but our mind get closer to him or her. You all are adults and you can understand. Suppose you are in a love affair. So you can understand, even when you are walking, that whoever the person is with you, like your mind is attached to him. So you're always carrying like that person. So your mind is get closer or get engaged with that person. And that's why it may be that so before wedding you have engagement. So even formally you term it as engagement. Upaya means engagement. So our Buddha says, now after watching all these, how minds are working of the being, he says, these beings' minds are either upaya, that means either closer to object. For example, so this is the object, for example, and this is the mind, and it is now closer to the object. That is one state of mind, Buddha says. His observation is. Upadana means now, after getting closer, now he's grasping it, he's holding it. Either he holds it. Abhinivesa means he's going into it. Abhinivesa. These are the states that Buddha is saying. So, in our minds, if you honestly reflect, where our mind is staying, I don't know any of these. There's another state mentioned, Chetiso Aditthana, where our minds sometimes have certain views. Say for example, we have a kind of a view, okay, this world is not created. Say another says, there's an omnipotent God has created the world. That's a view. And they believe strongly. And that is what the mind grasping at that time. And we strongly grasp that. And suppose someone is saying, no, this world is not created, and it's a kind of a, say, created by so many gods, not just one god, then they can even get into an argument. And there are certain beliefs that tell him, okay, there is no birth after death, you are just finished after this death. Someone says, no, there's a rebirth after death. So that's a belief. And even they can go into battles, the wars among the nations and even among the different, say, religious groups. In today's world, there are many religious groups and they have different views. And our mind, not only these typical sensual objects, our minds even grasp these mental kind of viewpoints. How strongly we grasp, we even kill each other for these views. If someone is having one view, which is not matching or according to my view, then I hate it and even kill it. Such is not available among animals. If you consider animals, why they are killing each other, it may be due to food, or maybe due to some sensual pleasures, that's all. For any kind of being, it's only among humans. So this is another point that Buddha is telling, because of this mental standpoints. Aditthana also is another aspect that our mind gets grasped. Upaya, Upadana, Abhinivesa, Chetsu, Aditthana. So all these things are ways that our minds are operating, how our mind establishes itself. Again Buddha says, Dvayamisitoko ayam kacchana loko yeguye. Atitancheva natitanch. And more, if we think further, a little deeper, our Buddha says our mind is in a kind of duality. We take things exist. So for you, okay, this Kalalgoda exists. For me, Kalalgoda exists. This recorder exists. This mic exists. Sri Lanka exists. Say, President exists. Whoever, this fan exists. So everything exists. This is one extreme. Now, on the other hand, someone who is, say, somewhat kind of philosopher or something like that, he comes and says, no, all things are mind created. Mind made. It's a mental illusion. Nothing exists. So Buddha says that's another extreme. So we either live in this extreme or else live in the other extreme. So this is how our mind works. So Buddha says now, typically our minds are grasping either in everything exists, that state, or nothing exists on the other extreme. So this is how he explains to Venerable Kacchana, telling that how our minds are grasping, how our minds get closer or get engaged with things, and adhere to things, get into things, and get trapped in things. Once we get trapped, we are in a different world. And that world also transient. That world also impermanent. And ultimately it also fade away. It also disappears. It also collapses. And we're back into kind of a body, back into a kind of a depression. So all these things, because we are not mindful. Because if we are mindful, at least when we are reborn, when we are becoming, then we at least know now I am unfortunately attached to some object. It's transient. Because of my stupidity anyway, still my habitual pattern does not stop me to prevent it. Still I go and attach to it. And you know very well it will collapse. Still I can't stop it. Because the mental habitual pattern is so strong. Knowing this theory is one side. But practically avoiding it or practically find solution is another side. So that's why we need to have a fair amount of knowledge about the Dhamma and how our minds are operating, how we get caught to certain experiences. At the same time, we need to watch again and again how mind is doing this same stupid thing, again and again. And we understand once mind has done it, but after some time, again going and doing the same. So we'll see on tomorrow how we going to overcome this situation, because that Buddha is going to explain in the next part of the Sutta. So today actually we discussed about the getting caught side or the getting trapped in the dependent arising, and similarly Buddha explains further in this Sutta how one can overcome this kind of a sad situation, entanglement, and be free from this vicious cycle. So, with the hope of discussing that on tomorrow, I will conclude today's Dhamma sermon. Thank you very much for listening. So, after concluding any Dhamma sermon, we typically share merits. So, you all have observed 8 precepts and again listen to a Dhamma sermon and again participate to Dhamma discussion and again practice to the best of your ability. And through this, we were able to accumulate a lot of merits. So we share these merits with all the past relatives, and again all the gods and deities, again whoever the beings who are in need of merits. Again, let's which these merits help us also to understand the Dhamma and again see through this samsara and be free from samsara.